Welcome to the conversation section of the 18th edition of the International Film Festival of Kerala. Today it's indeed a rare honor to all of us. We have in our midst somebody who I think the younger generations here would have grown up watching some of her films, some of the popular classics in Malayalam in which the actor has acted. Welcome, Gautami, to our midst.
Thank you very much, Meena. It's a pleasure to be here.
Cinema is something that is intensely political, but also radically aesthetic. Straddles so many worlds, so many experiences. And I think today we have somebody very apt as one of the jury members here, because she herself has acted in so many roles and straddles so many spaces as far as Indian cinema is concerned. Born in the Godavari district in Andhra Pradesh, she has traversed, I think, across spaces, across cultures, across audiences, and come into the hearts of many of us, who are ardent fans of cinema, who are ardent lovers of cinema. Could you tell us something about your experiences of being here, Gautami?
It's an honor for me to be here. And I say that with every sincerity. The festival has attained a sterling reputation. I mean, it is acknowledged widely as one of the finest in this region and in its caliber. And I would say I want to thank everybody at the festival, Beena, Mr. Priyadarshan, whoever's given me this opportunity, because I feel very proud to even call them my, fellow jury members. But it's an absolute honor to be there with Mr. Arturo and with Mr. Peter, and amazing people, and the kind of work they've done and their achievements. It's just amazing to be there with them and share that. They're wonderful people.
As an actor who has acted mostly in popular films, what was your experience regarding the films that you watched during the judging sessions?
I'll just go back a little bit to the kind of work that I've done, and also acting in films and roles as they're defined. There's this still perception of art film and mass commercial cinema. For me, somewhere that line never was obvious, at least to me in the choices I made or the work that I did. And I hope also to the people who saw it. Because it was about, in the early stages, I was a kid. I was trying to figure out what this is about, find my feet in the industry. So I did all the usual, song and dance and all of that. Then after a certain stage, when I realized this is what I really want to do, and I want to be good at what I do, that's when I realized that I had to start learning more. And I never had the advantage of going to a film institute or learning with a teacher. So I decided everybody I worked with, in whatever capacity, co-artist, as a technician, director, makeup person, whoever it was, I would learn. I learned what I want to do and what I should not do also. So when that started happening, my film choices started changing a little bit. I started off with, in Kerala, His Highness Abdullah. Then I did films like Sukrutam, I did Vidyarambam, I did Dhruvam. There were so many films across the board. And the way they were accepted, and also the way you were kind enough to, speak today, shows that somewhere that line is blurred in people's mind, that art and commercial. And I think that it's finally about cinema. And this awesome audience that I've been seeing at all the shows, here included, this is passion, it's sheer passion. Hats off to all of you. You're just the most amazing audience I've ever seen. At a film festival, amazing. So that is the inspiration actually. And taking the cue from that, the films are very diverse. extremely diverse, and what I really appreciate is the selection that has been curated for this year. Is there are a lot of subtleties in the films. There are very few things that you can actually make a statement and say, well, so far at least films that we've seen, that this belongs to this school or that belongs to that style. So there's a lot of finer elements to the films that we've been watching, and I'm thoroughly challenged by it, which is what I'm enjoying the most. And trying to understand it, analyze it, form an opinion. That's very challenging.
When you say you are challenged by it, is it the complex nuances of the movie, or are you trying to say that the blurring of the boundaries between, you know, these kinds of generic divisions that are made? What is it that challenges you?
What I find very interesting and as a personal challenge is to get into the mind of the filmmaker. Because that is where I believe the ultimate perspective has to be created. Because you are basically looking over the filmmaker's shoulder, maybe even through his eyes, when you're looking at what he's put on screen and for you to evaluate and judge it. So to get into the psyche and the mind of the filmmaker is what is a challenge. And there are so many clues that give you hints of that as to how he's developed a particular character. Sometimes a filmmaker will fall in love with a character, and you can see they pour their heart and soul into writing it, creating the scenes, shooting it. Every little shot, every little nuance will be so beautifully put in place and all that. So like that, what were they intending? What was their state of mind? What is the vision that they're putting out there for people to see? So that is what I'm finding fascinating.
The boldness and the integrity of that character, I think it has remained unparalleled as far as Malayalam cinema is concerned. So I think it was, we owe you a great applause for that, the kind of role that you did in Suhridam. It's amazing. It doesn't happen very often.
Thank you. Thank you. It means so much to hear that. Because what I do is when I work, all I see is that frame. I have tunnel vision when it comes to work. Even if I go to a place that I've not been before and you ask me after the shoot, what did you see? I have no idea. Only my shot, my work, my frame, only that I will know. There's some monument nearby or some tourist attraction, I have no idea. So my work has always been classified like that. So when I finish it and I move on to the next, I need people to tell me this worked, this didn't work. People whose opinions are credible to me. So thank you. It means a lot to hear you say that.
Thank you. As an actor, as a costume designer of late, as also someone who has graced the mini screen, what is it that you're most at ease with? What do you enjoy?
Anything to do with cinema. In front of the screen, behind the screen, as a fetching stuff, I don't care. It has to be something connected with cinema. That's when I seem to come alive. So any job out there, I'll take it if it's connected to cinema.
I begin and end in cinema. What a wonderful reply that was. I think we should have some questions from the audience. Yeah.
Is there a mic that... Good afternoon.
89ல குரு சிஷ்யன்ல எப்படி பார்த்தனோ இன்னைக்கு நீங்க அப்படியே தான் இருக்கீங்க. And you started off your first movie that itself is an honor. And in your early years of your career, you acted with the perfectionist of perfectionists, Ulaganayakan Kamal Haasan, both. And from there, your marriage and post your marriage, what many people, I don't know whether they know or no, I salute personally for the fact that you're a cancer survivor. What was your journey of life from the point you knew that you had this health problem and till now on this stage? What was the journey of life? How you recovered it? How you interacted with UV, Lisa Ray? These are the people who combated the disease. And Kamal sir's best friend Srividya. Probably you must have been associated with her. Please share your experience with us.
I'm glad you brought that up. I take every platform possible to talk about cancer awareness. I had cancer when I was diagnosed when I was about 35. I'm 44 now. So as you can see, there is life after the diagnosis. I think one thing that helped a lot was I not tried to be, but I was rational about it. I have an understanding of how illness and disease and health work, and spoke to my doctors, got a clear diagnosis, and I knew that this is something I can fight. So I never went into a panic or depression. Of course, I mean, there are moments when, you know, it all catches up with you, and sometime in the middle of the night you can't sleep and you think, oh my God, my baby is only 5 years old, what will happen to her if anything happens to me? To be very honest, that was the only worry in my mind. My daughter was barely 5 years old, and I had been a single parent, had nobody else other than me. So, in a way that was also probably the biggest impetus for me to keep going. There's no question of taking a break, coming back and all of that. It's, you gotta keep going. I mean, life is what is happening to you every day. And if you don't live that, what are you doing here on this earth? You know? Plan for tomorrow. Think about yesterday. All that is fine, but live today. Appreciate today. And I've taken life like that. I've been incredibly, I don't know if it's luck or if it's a blessing or just the way life happens, I've had incredible people around me. Kamal sir has been more than a pillar. It's like my backbone. I just don't have to think about it. I stand up because of it. And it's as integral to me as any part of my body. So that is who he was. That unquestioning, I mean, I never even had to think once about, oh my God, you know, this is such a strain, or, you know, how can I put him through this? There's no question. Till today, it's not entered my mind. And my family, I lost my parents by then, which was actually a good thing because they wouldn't have been able to face it. But my brother, my sister-in-law, my aunts, just everybody. So you have to gather whatever people around you who are on your side, who really want to see you victorious, who love you, and you have to have logical information about whatever situation you're in. It's a health situation, financial crisis, personal crisis, whatever it is. Have some rational information, understand your strengths and weaknesses, and then proceed accordingly. The mind is a wonderful thing. It can completely swamp you, push you under, or it can be the only thing that holds you upright and gets you to survive and win.
What kind of succor did cinema offer you during this bad patch of time?
Okay, to give an example, chemotherapy is a very interesting process. Everyone talks about, oh, you puke, or, you know, your hair falls out and all. Big deal. That happens if you have food poisoning, or, you know, if you have a nutritional deficiency, your hair will fall out. But what happens is basically, emotionally, your energy levels completely take a dive. And then over a period of 3-4 days, they build up again and you're back to normal. So in those 3-4 days, where I have energy to move, lift my head, talk, anything, I just lie there in my favorite armchair and just watch movies, TV shows, anything on screen I would just watch, and that really got me through it. It was my refuge, it was my reality, it was my anchor.
Ma'am, at this point of time, what kind of a character do you think that can sort of draw you back into movies? Like, do you have any idea about, you know, the character that you want to do? And one more question. Looking at the, you know, the kind of movies that are being made today, especially the kind of roles being given to actors, female actors, do you think that you would get the kind of strong characters that you used to do before?
I would like to do any character that is challenging. I know that's a very broad definition, and but the fact is, I can't say it should be a woman who, say, rises against oppression, or a very soft character. Or earlier the thing used to be, I want to play a blind person. They used to say that used to be the height of challenging. I've heard many artists give this response. I've never been able to quantify it like that. I've never been able to say that kind of a role or this kind of a role. I know there are people that I want to work with, and I have a long list of that. So I'm just hoping that one day they'll, have the script in their hands and, you know what, only Gautami can do this role, let's ask her. And I'm in a good place in my life now to do that, because I have a family that's very supportive. And I have a daughter who's at that age where she was the one a few years ago, she said, you better get back to work. Because I know you love it and you're missing it, and I'm old enough now. You've done your duty by me, so now you go do your things. So when you have that kind of support, you can go forward with a big smile in your heart. So challenging roles, it can be the same thing, done again differently, to put my stamp on it. Even if it is something that has been made iconic by other actors, I know I'll be able to put my stamp. So basically, anything, I'm up for a challenge. I love to push myself. Female oriented, yes, because it comes through my eyes and my perspective. But I mean, we have to be sympathetic to the other gender also. You can't have one without the other. You can't. So there are good guys everywhere.
That's one of the most brilliant answers I've ever had from a woman actor. But that also reminds me that, I mean, you yourself would know that, that the common woman's problems actually never reach the screen. How do you respond to that? Because there are no ordinary women. The women who are striving to go beyond these Lakshmana Rekhas, their stories are most often not portrayed. I mean, your own life included.
Yes, I agree with you completely about that. And which is where I believe, this is where all of you can play such a decisive role. One of the most powerful mediums right now is television. These TV serials that run every half hour are some of the most direct kind of programming that anybody can do. And unfortunately, a lot of the content that I see is not representative either of society in our homes, and neither is it that we should perpetuate and set up as a standard, saying, okay, this is the way serials should be made, or this is the way stories should be told. Or that is where the audience really needs to start putting their foot down and saying, no, okay, if this is going to be this way, give us something better. Hey, you guys did it with cinema. Movies didn't run. And if the filmmaking paradigm has changed, it's because you guys put your foot down and said, I'm not going to buy that ticket. I'm not going to make this film a hit because I simply don't like the way you made it. This is not right. This is not respectful of my sensibility as an audience member. You're treating me as if I don't have the ability to judge you or to estimate as to what is good or what is not in good taste. Or if it's not of the caliber that is required to respect my intelligence as an audience member. So you really need to start doing that with television. Because trust me, that's the only way the producers will listen. And at the end of the day, no matter how passionate it is, have that producer with him. So it's in your hands.
Ultimately, the spectator should decide. That's what she's saying. Are there any more questions? I think there's a wonderful note to finish this conversation with. You decide on what is to be made, and cinema is ultimately in the hands of the spectator, of audiences. Thank you so much for spending so much time with us, and I think we're all honored by your presence here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Meena. It's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you so much. It's been wonderful to be here with you.
Really interesting conversation. Thank you for that. And we cherish your roles and we will definitely cherish this conversation also.